The concept is simple. It's Pokemon Fire Red, but every Pokemon has at least 2 additional evolutions. They all have custom artwork, and it's really cool. If you're just here to look at all the cool new Pokemon, here's some of my personal favorites right out the gate. Look at this cool final evolution for Ninetales. Wow. Doug Trio. With limbs? Now that's cursed. This is Persian's evolution. Wood? I really like Victreebel's first evolution, Carnivale. He looks so devious. The Rhyhorn line dies, becomes a relic, and then gets reborn. Pinsir's evolution have a whole Hollow Knight thing going on. And Kangaskhan's kid dies, turning it into a murderous maniac. Neat. That was fun. Okay, now that we have the prerequisite key jangling out of the way, we can get into the nitty-gritty details of what it means to do a hardcore Nuzlocke challenge run of a game like this. My channel is mostly about overanalyzing Pokemon in a deep mechanical sense and exploring the lengths to which we can overthink Nuzlockes of modded games like these. I saw this game when I was looking for something to play before the big release of Platinum Kaizo, and I thought it would make a good beach episode, you know, between playing the hardest games out there, and boy was I not ready. I know playing the game like this is not the point of the mod at all, but I'm not going to lie, this was an incredibly fun challenge run. If that's something that sounds cool, you can stick around. If not, hey, no sweat. I bet YouTube has plenty of cool recommendations underneath this video for you. Scroll down and pick one. No, I'm serious. Scroll down and see what else there is to watch now that you've seen all the cool new evolutions. Take your time. I bet there's like a Wolfie video there that looks pretty enticing, right? Maybe it's even the one about how he entered the worst Pokemon tournament. Ooh, is that an ADEF video? That one looks pretty cool too. Hey, while you're down there, why don't you just hit the subscribe button for me real quick. If I'm being honest, I've kind of given up on hitting 1 million subs though. That's fine. Maybe it's because I always upload the last day of the month anyway, so there's no point. You know what? Maybe I won't upload this one at the end of the month. Maybe I'll just throw this one out on like the 17th or something. Yeah, that'll show you. I mean, not that I care about my sub count or anything. But I mean, if you do subscribe, you'll get notified when that Drayano Gauntlet video comes out, you know, eventually. It's definitely coming out, guys. Like, really soon. Okay, I think they're gone. Let's talk about some real nerd shit. Like every Nuzlocke, I'm limited to catching the first Pokemon on each route. I fill up a team with some pretty normal guys. I do think one of the missed opportunities in this game was that they only added 1 new pre-evolution. Unfortunately, that means the early game pretty much feels like a normal Fire Red playthrough, just with a few Pokemon in locations they didn't appear in the vanilla games and some extra Pokemon on enemy trainers. Brock's Fight doesn't have any of these cool new evolutions either, but maybe this is to lull you into a false sense of security for the next gym leader. I kind of leveled myself into a corner here. Holy fucking shit. Okay, chill. That seems hardly fucking necessary, man. Oh my god. It's not as terrifying as I think, though, as Gyarados and many other previously final stage mons have significantly reduced stats across the board to give space for the evolutions down the line. But this fight is still surprisingly tough. Misty's Resto Chesto Golduck healing with rest and immediately waking up with its berry nearly takes out 3 of my Pokemon, and I feel compelled to sacrifice my Fearow to put a stop to its momentum and get some tempo. And since I'm playing by hardcore Nuzlocke rules, that means Fearow is gone forever, and I'll never get to see any of its evolutions. When Nuzlocking, it's really important to see how a fight can snowball out of control early and take a quick death while the rest of your Pokemon are still healthy. We call this a tempo sacrifice, or in German, Tempo-Opfer, which is what they used to call me in high school and would cry during gym class. Kleines Späßle für die deutschen Zuschauer, gell? As much as it sucks to lose a Pokemon permanently, I actually think it can be good for the mentality and approach to a run to lose a Pokemon early. It helps you not to get too attached to these teammates. Imagine getting attached to your Pokemon. We still think about you, Pythagoras. Even in games like this that aren't designed for punishing difficulty like a Kaizo game, getting too cute switching around and playing defensively against a Pokemon with steamroll potential is the easiest way to lose a whole run. As cool as it is to finish completely deathless, sometimes getting that first death out of the way makes it easier to make smart sacrifices later because you're not playing for that shiny deathless title, you know? But it's not like this game has achievements. Yet, we're making a Pokemon Evolved Hall of Fame, and once I regain the tempo, B-Brute, the evolution of Big Dick B, is able to tear through the rest of Misty's squad, although I did get a little help from Misty herself. Okay, unless this has, like, literally Psychic, I'm pretty sure we just live and this might kill. Camouflage, what the fuck? Okay, Misty, are you okay? Dude. She just rage quit. The big addition to my team in the next split is the Gyarados I fish up in Vermilion City, which will be a pretty consistent part of my team throughout the rest of the game. As Gyarados evolves, it will move from its standard physical attacking archetype to a potential mixed attacker, gaining a ton of special attack and even some cool bulky options with Wish and Cosmic Power. That might sound weird on Gyarados, but once you see what this big guy becomes, trust me, it makes sense. I easily sweep Surge with Sand Slam, an evolution of Sand Slash where it gains a steel typing. I know, I was hoping he would turn into Sonic too, but this is cool, I guess. Dronark returns to the lead role for Erica, a perfect counter for her grass types with fast and strong bug and poison attacks. I still haven't lost a Pokemon since I lost that Fearow to Misty, but the next gym would show that I almost certainly wasn't going to go deathless anyway. I figure Sand Slam, now evolved into the final form of Fearodillo, is an easy choice for Koga. It has big ground type power for super effective damage into poison, as well as an immunity to poison from its steel typing. So as I'm staring down Koga's choking, Weezing's final evolution, I don't see anything it could possibly do to kill me. Choking on what, you might ask? Well, paralyzed gyro ball here. Okay, he just booms. We take that like it's nothing. Never mind. Holy fuck, this guy has a lot of attack. That's death number 2, y'all. Fearodillo, for the record, is bulkier than Registeel. So how the hell did this explosion kill? Yes, explosion still has the old defense halving mechanic in this game, but still it was an insanely bulky steel type on the receiving end. For the record, if this attack was coming off of Weezing's base 90 attack, this explosion wouldn't have even killed with a crit. But choking does not have 90 base attack. Let's check the spreadsheet. And 255? That's not a Pokemon, that's the fucking Death Star. That is quite literally the maximum any Pokemon can have in any stat, previously reserved for Blissey's insane HP stat. What the hell were they thinking? So I actually think this is one of the most interesting designs in the whole game, and that it's kind of mid as a Nuzlocke Pokemon, even if it did catch me off guard here. In case it's hard to picture how insane this attack stat is, let's think about your favorite Pokemon. Charizard. Charizard's natural strength is actually quite good to take down a lot of weak threats. Now, let's say you stack up on Charizard like a lasagna. With 2 layers of Charizards, you would actually go from 84 base attack to 168. So you would need 3 Charizards to have an attack stat as strong as choking. 3 dragons stacked on top of each other. Did I get tricked into playing Yu-Gi-Oh again? Actually, it's like 3 Charizards and slightly more than half of a Chansey, but you get it. So how could this possibly be balanced? It's all in the moveset. The only physical move it learns naturally is Explosion. So if it wants to use that big stat, it literally has to kill itself. This is actually a really cool design decision. It's just a lethal bomb. Its only job is to explode. That's the only thing it's good at. This is maybe my favorite Pokemon in the whole game, just from a design point of view. I wish more Pokemon were like this. I wish more Pokemon weren't just about the artwork, or in the worst cases, just making a reference, not talking about anyone specific, looking at the Machamp line suspiciously, but actually changing the way the Pokemon plays, leaning into a thing that the Pokemon does and making it better at that, giving it a distinct role. I think that this game has a lot of potential, and hey, who knows, maybe somebody watching this video will get inspired, make a mod of this mod, and actually make more interesting gameplay changes to some of these Pokemon to give them unique roles within the game. As it stands, choking is fantastic. I love this. I took Squirtle as my starter, and by this point, Blastoise's evolutions are proving to be extremely strong. It evolves into Ferropin, a water steel type with shell armor. I was a little disappointed with how few ability changes the late stage Mons received in this game, but this was one that turned out to be quite impactful. The fact that it also gets Protect turns Ferropin and its later evolutions into an absolutely nutty stall Pokemon. Steel typing is insanely strong in this game, just like in Vanilla Fire Red, with few fighting type threats on opposing trainer teams. Bro, are you serious? Hello? Is this... I'm sorry, what? You're saying the streets are calling? Zenless Zone Zero. That's right, the #1 urban fantasy action RPG is back. You might know Zenless Zone Zero as the game with the hot bear, but it's so much more. And version 3.0 launching showcases just that, with the game's main character Proxy arriving as an S-rank Ragin for the very first time, completely for free. Just playing through the missions will grant you this character plus exclusive W engine mindscapes and a special British-inspired skin for Proxy. Log on today and catch the Season 3 rewards that include tons of polychromes, signal searches, and a preview of the upcoming anniversary celebration that will have the highest welfare package for players in the game's history. You'll get a chance to explore the brand new city of Rose Califer, the island city in the sky with a cyberpunk feel. On top of all that, popular characters are returning, new stories begin, and alternate game modes premiere. Plus, a brand new element joins the game with the arrival of Velina, the first ever wind attribute character. but you won't be coming alone, as she's bringing along a little friend in the form of Norma, a mad scientist who might be small, but has a big personality. These two new characters are joining the game in its most powerful evolution, as the new Steam version will introduce new options for ray tracing, global illumination optimization, high resolution, and gamepad play, all with the launch of 3.0. There's a plethora of content for new and returning players to check out, so why not try it now? Click my link down in the description or the pinned comment. Thank you to ZZZ for sponsoring this video. Anyway, what was I saying? Steel type is insanely strong in this game, as Gen 1 just isn't equipped to handle this typing. Adding water typing just makes it even stronger defensively. I think water steel type is one of the best types for a Pokemon to be in a Nuzlocke. It's the logical extreme of the Empoleon archetype. Blaine is a piece of cake, as I wash him with the water type combo of Kingler's evolution Teclano, and the creative Golem evolution Volcanical. But Viridian Gym is a bit harder. Twice in Viridian Gym, that whole thing I brought up earlier about not getting trapped by playing for a deathless run pays off again. I don't have a single airborne Pokemon on this team, so I feel compelled to switch to my Exeggutor evolution as a ground resistant switch in, and it just gets blown up by a quad effective Megahorn. I probably could have safely gone to my Dugtrio evolution here, but I assumed I'd be faster, and my box is plenty big to handle that loss. And if you're in late game and you know what the goats of your box are, you can deliberately sack a lot of Pokemon to get safe advantages and easier fights. But on the last turn before Giovanni, I just figured that Machamp's final evolution probably isn't a dark type, and my Psychic Click into it cost me Sark Arts. Definitely hurts to lose that. This thing had an insane 190 special attack and is pretty strong all around, and it would have been cool to explore further. I learned my lesson from that first trainer fight and added Dodozen, the final Dodrio evolution, to my team. Yeah, they did give us Quadrio before, whatever this thing is. Also, tag yourself. Anyway, I go Deathless on Giovanni, despite Patrafinx, the final form of Persian, trying to lure me in once again. Mew is in this game, and I don't have to tell you how you get it, right? Obviously, yeah, it's a thing. Pretty cute, pretty cool, pretty cute. Obviously, this thing would have been insanely broken if I wanted to use setup moves, but prior to reaching the Elite Four, I make the executive decision that in order to make things interesting, I'm going to play the game's final 5 fights without setup. This instead means I'll be leaning heavily on defensive strategies, because I am playing this game blind. I don't know what enemy trainers are going to have. Mew's final evolution is also great at using Stall, with its excellent all-around stat spread, and move pool with stuff like Toxic and Recover. Joining it on the squad are the following. Quasar is the final evolution form of Gyarados. Gyarados is another great example of a final evolution in this game that doesn't fall into the trap of just feeling like an extension of the already existing Pokemon. This is a whole different direction, as Gyarados eventually turns into this water dragon type with solid bulk, great speed, and a 160 base stat in both attack and special attack. As a water dragon type, this thing loves being able to swing from the special side with that huge special attack increase. Quasar also gets Wish, which can pass a ton of healing off its 100 base HP, and with all its bulk and strong defensive typing, I should get plenty of chances to click it if I need to. Tortillery, the final form of Blastoise, is the final part of my defensive core here. This has been part of the team for pretty much every fight, sitting on the field with its insane typing and shell armor to block crits. It's all about bulk on this guy. 118 special attack stat certainly isn't bad, but I'm bringing it to click Protect, heal with leftovers, and rest, and win slowly. Part of the reason I went for a more defensive team is that I realized in Fire Red, you can pick up 2 leftovers underneath each Snorlax if you get the item finder. Usually what determines how much I want to lean into a stall strategy in a game is how many Protect TMs and leftovers I have access to. Oxenfree, the final form of Tauros, is on the team. I figure that a normal Ghost type is absolutely fantastic into both the fighting and the Ghost type Elite Four member. I really wasn't enjoying where they went with Taurus's first evolution, but I'm all about this one. Normal Ghost typing, Intimidate, and the same kind of attack speed combination that made it an absolute beast in Gen 1 competitive. As I mentioned earlier, I really didn't want to get caught without a ground immunity like I did in Giovanni's gym, but Dodozen is also another really strong and fast attacker. With Dragon as its secondary typing over normal, Dodozen gets plenty of switch-in opportunities to get on the field, it gets a resisted attack, and then click a massive Brave Bird coming off its 145 attack stat. Now, you might be wondering, why is Dodozen a dragon type? I'm asking you right now, why do you think it's a dragon type? Because it's an ancient animal that's extinct? That doesn't even make sense. It's not ancient. It was around at the same time as like Isaac Newton, man. What is it like a raptor, dinosaur, predator? Dodos aren't even birds of prey. It feels like a designer on the team here really liked this design, which fair, it's a cool dodo, and really wanted this to be a late game viable Pokemon. And I mean, it worked. I'm putting it on my team because it's a dragon type, but like, I don't like it that much. Like, I don't know, man. A couple of evolution changes don't make any sense to me. This one made me actually mad. Stormachu, the final evolution of Raichu, is the final Pokemon on the team. Not only does this guy have a sick design, now wearing a Thunderstone like he's Iron Man or something, but it gets a secondary Dark typing, and I know there will be a strong Psychic type like Sark Arts lurking in this Elite Four. I go in expecting Lorelei to have some bulk on her team, stuff like the Dugong and the Lapras shippings in the vanilla game. When she starts the battle by setting Aurora Veil with her Ice Normal type Liquilato, the final Lickitung form, which I guess is supposed to be eating itself, I know I'm gonna be in this one for the long haul. This one almost gets ugly when Tortillery turns into a total goddamn simp against this Jeepers, that's Jinx's final form, but it breaks through just in time with a rest to get me back on track. I'm also extremely happy to have Mons with Protect on this team, not just because it lets me scout against these Pokemon that I'm seeing for the first time ever, but because it lets me stall out Lorelei's Missing No, an insanely bulky Steel type that I can thankfully take out with help from Lorelei's own Hail. Yeah, we should probably talk about Missing No. There are 5 different forms in this game, probably not to the fact that there are actually many glitch Pokemon in RBY besides the one that most of us encountered by surfing next to Cinnabar Island back in the day. All of them are designed to hax you in some way, shape, or form. Metronome to punish you for letting it stay on the field too long. All of them have Metronome actually, so you really don't want to let these alive for too long. Not that I had a choice against this bulky monster. Thankfully, Iota is simply too good at sitting on the field and protecting, and I make it through. I figure I can pretty easily just sweep Bruno with Oxenfree. A normal ghost type should dunk on any fighting type trainer. And then I remember Machamp's final form, Machiton, is fighting dark. This is a dark type. I'll just rest. Okay, yeah, we're fine. We're just spam surf. We can probably do this on every single one of his Pokemon. I don't think this fight's gonna be a very big deal. Still got Mew in the back. I think it's gonna be the easiest fight. Like, if we can deal with the fighting type, dark type, we can deal with anything, right? Or so I think. Spiritually comes out next, a fascinating take on Hitmonlee that turns it into a mixed attacker with substantially more bulk. It's so cool. It's like a fighter, but it adds like the spiritual aspect of the history of martial arts with the psychic typing. It's just meta jam. I'd used Tortillery to take out Titan, so I stay in and protect the scout. I'm a bit surprised to see Blaze Kick rather than a fighting move, as Blaze Kick is merely regularly effective against Tortillery, because Gen 3 AI always switches in Pokemon with super effective moves first. The only way Spiritually couldn't have had a fighting move would be if none of Bruno's other Pokemon have one either. A bit weird, but whatever. Since I know I can take a Blaze Kick considering Tortillery's shell armor, I decide to stay in and click Surf a couple times. Still no fighting move, so with Spiritually on red HP, I decide to click Rest and heal up. On the rest turn, Bruno actually decides to switch out, opting to instead bring in Poliath. A move from Bruno that, without me knowing at the time, saved my entire run, but more on that in a bit. For now, I decide to switch to Iota for a Psychic type matchup advantage and eventually win the 1v1, bringing Spiritually back in. It gets full restored immediately as Iota hits it with Psychic and gets a nice special defense drop. Expecting a dark move, I go back to Tortillery, and after getting hit low by a couple of Blaze Kicks, I figure at this point that Spiritually's fighting move is probably just counter or something. Tortillery crits with a Surf to kill, Iota handles the Missing No, and I win the fight. The thing is, I got unbelievably lucky here. Twice. Spiritually's fighting move was Reversal, a fighting move that gets stronger the lower HP the Pokemon has. Let's rewind. Spiritually actually had Lethal on Tortillery with Reversal at this point. The thing is, Switch AI actually happens before literally any other AI calculation, including whether or not a move would kill. AI sees that it has a Water Absorb Pokemon with a super effective move into my Tortillery, Poliath with superpower, and so, without looking at whether or not Spiritually could kill here, it passes a random check and goes to Poliath instead. As the Hitmonlee evolution comes back out, I look out one more time when I crit it with Tortillery. I actually felt bad about this crit in the moment. I would have preferred to get a rest turn with Spiritually at low HP, but Spiritually almost certainly had a kill on my Tortillery on the rest turn. It was at around 20%, and thus Reversal would have been 100 base power, good enough to kill Tortillery as I was under half health. I think it wasn't even dead to most crits either, so there is even a world where Bruno's Pokemon survives on 1 HP, knocks the most central defensive Pokemon off this beach so hard that Jeff Probst would have had to show up to extinguish his torch.
The tribe is spoken.
Regardless of the nitty-gritty details, I got very lucky at least twice, and possibly 3 times. And if I hadn't, this beach episode could have ended up as a 2-parter. Thanks to my plot armor, I move on to Agatha. Here, I lead Stormachu for fast, dark-type coverage into her ghosts, and my reward is an easy matchup into her Fowlin Tom, flying ghost final form of Farfetch'd. Stormachu handles it easily. I'm kind of cruising through the fight. Tortoise handles both her Oxenfree and her Yokai UB Ninetales final evolution, but then Raywrath, her Marowak evolution, comes out and clicks a button that changes the whole way I've approached this battle. You'd think it has Earthquake, right? But why did Cubase come out first then? Oh, okay. Are you Shadow Tag? No, but the Pokemon after you might be, so I really shouldn't kill you with this. I don't think this has Earthquake. I think he doesn't have Earthquake. I should go here. Okay. The problem is, if we Phantom Force now and then immediately hit the switching in Pokemon, that's obviously fantastic, right? Well, yeah, there's not even a punish. I was just thinking the Gengar evolution, I think, is not weak to Ghost. There it is. This might still kill. I do a lot of damage. Oh, wait, no, is he? Yeah, he's Ghost Psychic. He's actually super dead. Oh shit, what up, Agatha? I was right to be worried about Shadow Tag, by the way, as Agatha's Missing No has a really evil combo of Double Team and Shadow Tag, but thankfully I hit through right away and we're on to Lance. And then all my confidence gets wiped out by one misclick. Pinadra. Oh, it's the Kingdra final Evo, huh? Oh shit. Okay. Oh, I misclicked! Oh no. Oh no, 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 hold on. I literally misclicked. I'm actually so fucked. Okay, what do we do? Oh, fuck me. Turns out I was totally fine. For some reason, this Pinadra just doesn't have any physical moves to actually use the attack boosts. And sure, I'm outsped, but I have too much bulk to get wiped by special attacks with no boosts, right? My reward for getting through Pinadra, this evil bastard. Just when I thought I'd stalled out with Iota, this thing shows off Refresh as its final move. No toxic stalling allowed here. Instead, I go to Dodozen to take it out with a couple of Dragon Claws, because thankfully, this thing still has shit defense. Then I make way for Tortillery to stall its way through a couple more Pokemon. However, it's not enough to stall out Lance's Quasar, the Gyarados final form. I do my best to stall it out with Iota and waste its Dragon Pulses, but I take too many crits. Something has to come in and take damage, and I figure I have to sacrifice here. But after my own Quasar tanks one of those Dragon Pulses, I realize I may just have the out to get through without losing anybody. With badge boosts, I'm modest. With badge boosts and level advantage, this could potentially be a kill. Yeah, and I have special defense badge boost. I think this is dead. Huge game knowledge there. To know that I outspeed with badge boost, and to know that I'll kill. Basically, in Vanilla Fire Red, every badge that you get boosts one of your stats by 10%. I could infer here from the damage I'd seen on my own Quasar that the mirror matchup was just enough in my favor that I could go for this risky attack. All that's left is an Aerodactyl-esque Missing No, and it just doesn't have the juice to threaten Fortoise, even if Minimize is always scary. So he's gonna lead with the final Moltres evolution. So I think that this is either a Quasar or a Elekim Stormachu angle. The issue is I don't think this guy actually has the sauce to just zap final Moltres evolution, whatever that is, out of the sky. And we need this guy to be alive for Sarkart's the final Zam Evo. I think that Quasar lead makes a lot more sense. I think that's what we do here. All right, I've been telling you guys, it's just a little vacation. It's just a little beach episode in Fern Tree. Final evolution of Moltres. God damn, this has a lot of special attack. Good luck, buddy. We're faster. Huge. Actually massive. That's actually just a kill. It's a beach episode, man. That's what I've been saying. It doesn't matter what game you're playing. The principles behind champion fights are always the same. Play aggressive, keep attacking, and use the fact that it doesn't matter whether or not you win with 6 or 1 Pokemon to make sure to get across the finish line. Quasar gets me all the way to 1 Pokemon I knew was going to be a problem, Sarkart's. I realized since Sarkart's is actually a Psychic Dark type, my Stormachu isn't going to be the counter I wanted it to be. It turns out to be good enough, but now my Dark type is weakened, leading into the real final boss of the game. Okay. 2v4. Speaking of 4, wasn't expecting that. Let's see what you got, Mew4. Let's see what you got, baby. That's a lot of defense, man. That's a whole lot of defense. No Psychic, though. Only extrasensory, but you probably kill me, don't you? Ho! Okay. Show me like a high roll here, maybe. Dodozen. Close. That's a full restore turn, but we do end the turn now. I think we go here in Phantom Force. It might actually be better to strength there into Phantom Force, huh? Yeah, that's probably the play there now that I think about it. Assuming that Phantom Force doesn't kill. Is he using counter? What the fuck is he? Oh, he's just naturally slower. I'm 145 base speed, actually. Yeah, I should have strengthed. I think this is gonna kill me. I'm super not bulky. And this is probably Ace who probably has another full restore. I could actually lose to this. Okay, not great. Not gonna lie. Oh, I actually threw by not clicking strength there. Okay, let's chill. This probably has synchronized, right? So I don't even know if I want to toxic this. We know it has Dark Pulse. Oh god, I think I'm gonna lose to this. I think Dark Pulse does too much to Iota. Oh, what a fucking throw. It would have just been dead, just straight up. Very unfortunate. That's a 2-hit KO. We have this. Wait, we totally have this. It's all good. We're chilling. All right. Symbiosaur final mon. It's actually starter versus starter. He's not quite in kill range. I don't know if he's overgrow. Doesn't look like it. It's a fucking beach episode, man. It's what I've been saying. This shit is easy. He said beating the game not made for nuzlocking whatsoever. Abusing disgusting stall strats. Here we are. I'm ready for Platinum Kaizo is all I'm saying. Not a bad little beach episode, even if things did get a little more tense than I planned. So what did I think of this game in the end? This game has a really cool concept. I love all of the custom artwork. It's super impressive and you can tell how much genuine effort went into this. While it's not the focus of the game, I obviously wish there was a bit more attention put on the gameplay design of these evolutions. Giving out more abilities that make Pokemon feel dramatically different from their pre-evolutions would have really done a lot here. In the end, most of them either keep the same ability or just have Intimidate or something. Some opportunities were definitely squandered when it comes to stats as well. Like this Snorlax evolution should absolutely just have like high speed and low defense, right? Instead it's just Snorlax with 20 more base points in every stat. It doesn't really make sense. I know this project was made purely out of fun and passion, but as someone who takes these games a little bit more seriously than I should, I can't help but wonder at how fascinatingly flawed the concept of giving everything 2 more evolutions would be in the vanilla games. You get glimpses of this in the final Elite Four, as it's the only place we truly get to see 6 final evolution stat blobs butting heads against each other. The game feels a little bit clunky and chaotic, with everything taking too little from some attacks and then suddenly getting absolutely annihilated by just another random stab move. The matchups are all incredibly volatile. Stall and hyper offense are the only 2 strategies that make sense. You get none of the fun back and forth mid-range fighting that makes some Nuzlocke fights really intense and enjoyable for me. It's a pretty cool game and there's a ton of evolutions I haven't even shown yet, so you should check it out if you like. Thank you for watching, if you made it so far. I was just trying to be cool when I said I don't care about hitting 1 million subs earlier, okay? It's literally my entire ego hinges on this, okay? Please, I'm begging you, please, just subscribe, please, please.